Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
And new undisputed UFC Middleweight Champion of the world, Michael the Count Bisping.
This is Believe You Me on the Gas Digital Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, Monday evening, wherever you are in the world, welcome to another episode of Believe You Me with the one and only Anthony Smith and myself, of course, Michael Bisping. Mr. Smith, how are we, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm good. You know, over the weekend, have you ever been to your kid wrestled, so you've been to the state wrestling tournaments and stuff?
Many times.
Yeah, we went to there's this team that's in Underwood, Iowa. It's about 30 minutes from where I live. And I go there and wrestle with those guys and just kind of really connected with that team. So they wrestled at the state tournament over the weekend. So we went to Des Moines, Iowa and hung out and took the family. We stayed in this water park.
So you wrestled? You went there to wrestle just to work on your wrestling, or you took your kids?
No. So I go to this high school and I just hang out with them. I wrestle. I practice with them from time to time. I don't know, just try to give them some advice and motivate them and, whatever. So I just hang out with them all the time.
Nice.
One of my good buddies is the assistant wrestling coach there. So they all went and wrestled at the tournament. So it was it's cool being in that atmosphere, guys.
No, it is. It's very humbling as well, though, isn't it? Because those little fuckers, they can wrestle. Like Callum, like my son, if we wrestle, he can out-wrestle me now. Of course he can. But I remember when I fought GSP for the training camp, I brought in these two young kids. And they were, former college wrestlers. So I say kids, they were young men, like 21, 22. Holy shit. They would throw me, collegiate wrestlers at a very, very high level. They know what to do. Oh my God. As I said, they were like 21 and I'm champion of the world, supposed to be a badass. And I've got these kids showing up on a Tuesday morning down at UFC Gym Costa Mesa, picking me up, slamming me on my head time and time again. Sons of bitches. Very humbling.
Yeah, it is. It is. And they never stop. Their conditioning is top notch. They're all over you. And I don't know. I think it's just good for my soul. I think just to get down there with them and just grind. And this team is full of studs. There's a lot of Division I commits already on this team. So it was fun, man. We went and hung out and
nice.
Came back, watched the fight.
Where was that? Whereabouts in the country?
Des Moines, Iowa.
Ah, yes. Des Moines, Iowa. Yes, home to many a wrestler, I believe.
Yeah, and Jeremy Stevens.
No, there we go. Was Jeremy there?
No, that's just his hometown. That's where he's from.
Ah, got it. Yeah, Jeremy's not with the UFC anymore. I was going to ask if... I know, poor guy. But you know what? A lot of people talk shit when Jeremy got cut from the UFC, but if you look at his record, I think there was a lot of losses on there. And I'm not one to sit here and I'm not going to badmouth Jeremy. He's a legend of the sport. He fucking fought his heart and soul out every step of the way. But sadly, when you've got 7 losses or something, it's a harsh reality that unfortunately maybe your time's up, but I hope you're doing well, Jeremy. I really, really do.
Yeah. I from what I understand, he got a pretty good deal over at PFL. Got the opportunity.
Oh, nice.
To fight through and try to go get himself $1 million check. I couldn't be happier for him.
Oh, beautiful. Well, good for you. Well done, Jeremy. Harrington, show yourself. Now, Harrington, I asked him to send us some non-MMA stories to start the thing. And the stuff that came through was just stupid. So I said, go away and think of something else. Okay. I said, we can't talk about, all right, I'll let the cat out of the bag. I'm doing a segment for GQ next week. And he's like, oh, let's do that segment on the show. I'm like, what are you talking about? I will get a phone call saying, you fucking asshole, right? You have stolen our content idea and did it on your own podcast, Harrington.
My idea was to do literally 1/10 of that segment, right, as a teaser on here, so people got excited for this thing GQ is putting out next week. But I guess I'm not a brand manager for GQ. They don't need the help from me.
No, they don't need the help from you or me or anyone.
You're not a brand manager for anything.
That is correct.
I can't believe that you just so nonchalantly said in the text, you're like, oh, guys, what time are you guys thinking? I got this thing I gotta do. It's like GQ magazine,
Anthony,
not a big deal.
don't be giving it that one. No, I'm serious though, because I was trying to get out of doing it. So because I got the documentary coming out, and I'm doing a bunch of PR. I'm doing the Joe Rogan podcast, so I'm very excited about that. They wanted me to do the Lex Friedman podcast and the GQ podcast. And sorry, a GQ feature. They're going to come to the house, and I've got to show 10 things that I must have, that I cannot live without. And I'm like, I don't think I have 10 things that I can't live without. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like I'm going to pull out little stupid things on like fashion and hair gel. And I'm like, I don't want to be that guy. But so I didn't want to do it. But then
wallet-sized pictures of me and Harrington.
Oh, of course. always. So let me ask you, Anthony Smith, if you had to choose a few things, one thing that you couldn't live without, what would be your number one, other than your wife and kids, of course?
Oh man, when you said that, I was thinking, I was like, I can't think of 10.
It's not easy.
Yeah, because I'm a pretty simple dude. I don't really give a shit about a whole lot of things.
Same.
Yeah, it's tough. There's like not one thing I'm like, oh, I gotta have that, or I won't make it.
Yeah, so I've kind of got a few things that I'm going to do, and I'm going to look like such an asshole. I'm not going to say them on the show, otherwise it kind of takes away from the piece that they're doing. They're coming down to the house. But Harrington, if we had to have one thing that Harrington, Mr. Mike Harrington, could not live without, and I can't believe I'm asking this question, but what would it be?
I mean, it would have to be this microphone so that I can talk to you every week.
That's actually one of my things. It's one of my things, because then I get to plug the podcast, I get to plug the YouTube and all the other stuff that I do. I'm like, oh, a microphone. It's like, they're going to be like, this is the lamest motherfucker ever. Most people are pulling out gold watches and stuff like, well, I like my microphone and I like my SpongeBob cup. Can't live without that. Gee golly.
Can't live without that.
Harrington, what's going on in the world of Russian MMA right now? I saw some crazy story. You wanted to tell us all about it.
Yeah, so this is a wild thing. This guy gets into an altercation. He's a middleweight in Russia. Sadly, I believe he's 0-2 right now is his record. He's still looking for his first win. He lost another one in the parking lot of a gym when he got into an altercation with a security guard and he got shot. So according to hospital records, there was a man under that name admitted for a gunshot wound. But there's also reports, according to Tapology, that he fought the next day and lost.
So hold on, back up. So he went to the gym, he got involved in some sparring, didn't go his way, and he went to the car, got his gun, a shotgun no less, and blew his sparring partner away.
No, he got shot. He got into it with a security guard over whatever the thing was. He got shot, got brought into the hospital. I guess he got treatment for the wound, and apparently he showed up to the fight the next day.
Well, that's pretty badass. But here's what's really concerning about this, Anthony, is that when we were just quickly talking about this off air, you said, because we said, oh my God, what kind of psycho brings his gun to the gym? And you said, what are you talking about? MMA fighters always bring their guns to the gym.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you serious? I mean, I don't own a gun, so please don't come to my house and try and murder me.
No, well, like we have this, I feel like you and I always have this like comparison of the different cultures that we live in. Like you're very much in the California lifestyle. It is not odd for like us to pull in the parking lot and there be like trucks with like rifles in the back window and like everyone kind of carries and so it's not like everyone puts their bag down if someone goes to move, like, hey, don't move that bag, it's got a gun in it. Like
no.
It's not weird.
There's zero judgment on it. I'm not judging, but it was just like when we were talking about that, you were just like, you're saying I'm nonchalant about the fucking GQ thing? You were very nonchalant about, hey, we always have guns at the gym. I'm just saying an environment where maybe testosterone gets a little high, it's a little competitive. People are literally getting punched, kicked, kneed in the face. You throw a gun in the mix, someone's going to get their head blown off. Much like the Russian dude.
If you throw one gun in the mix, that's always the justification. It's like It's like in Texas, everyone has guns, but like no one uses them that much, and no one loses their shit too much because that guy probably has a gun too. So it's just the Midwest mentality, man. I always love having these conversations though because I like the look of shock on your face, and you're like, "Are you fucking serious?" Like, yeah.
Well, listen, don't worry. For those people listening, we're not going to get into it yesterday. What did you buy? And this is going to mean nothing to me.
Well, okay, so I bought a new handgun for my wife and my oldest daughter.
How old's your daughter?
She's 10. She's 10.
That That sounds crazy to me. I'm sorry. That sounds crazy to me.
And how big is the caliber of these weapons?
Okay, so the handgun is it's a Glock 44, I believe. So that's a 22 caliber. It's really, really small caliber. So the idea is that my daughter can learn and handle it and be able to fire it without a big recoil, and she can get comfortable. And as she gets older, then eventually she can graduate to her own gun and do her thing. And kind of same deal with my wife, just easier to fire and not have this huge recoil and scary thing or whatever. So that's more for those two. And then I got my oldest a hunting rifle, an older one.
As I say, I don't want to get into the whole gun debate. You know what I mean? Some people are very, very pro-gun in this country. I come from a country where the gun culture doesn't really exist unless you're a criminal. So I don't want to get into that. I don't want to talk about that.
And I wouldn't even say I'm pro-gun. I'm pro like my guns. Like I don't really give a shit what anyone else does. I like having my stuff, but I'm not the guy that's out there waving flags, screaming and hollering for gun rights. I could give a shit as long as everything I got's legally owned. Everything we do is super safe. It's you know what I mean? I just do my own thing. I stay at everyone else's business.
Well, the question I was going to ask you though, Anthony, and sorry to bring this up or keep harping on about it because I mentioned it a couple of shows ago. When you had that home invasion, when that guy came through, did you not have guns around the house then?
I did. I carry, it depends on like day to day. Like sometimes I don't, depends on where I'm going. Sometimes I do, sometimes it's in my vehicle. When I'm driving or whatever. But that particular day, I have like this crossbody bag, and it fits a gun perfectly. So it's in the bag.
So I know what you're talking about, and I know people talk shit because they say I keep interrupting you, but I'm trying to extract comedy elements. Those bags that people have across the body, a lot of the time they could be maybe misconstrued as somewhat feminine or like very high fashion. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yours that's holding your guns. So hey, don't judge too soon, people.
It is a Louis Vuitton crossbody bag.
Of course it is. Of course. You're talking shit about me. You've got a Louis Vuitton crossbody bag, and inside there you got the tiniest little gun, but it will blow your head off.
No, it's actually big. That's why I got the bag, so it fits. So the gun was in the bag, and the bag was hanging on a door in my bathroom. So it wasn't close enough to grab, or 90% of the time it would have been next to my bed. But that just one night, it just wasn't.
Yeah.
And honestly, fortunately, because I know for a fact I would have shot him. So I'm glad that didn't happen. And, I think it worked out for the best.
Let's just say Harrington had decided he'd fallen off the wagon. He started having a few drinks. He found himself in Omaha, Nebraska, and he wandered into your house in the middle of the night with a glazed look in his eye, where shirtless with sweaty body hair all over him. Would you take it easy and just beat the living shit out of him? Or would you choose to get the Louis Vuitton bag, take the gun out and blow his brains out?
I think before the home invasion, that answer is different. I think before it happened, absolutely 100% would have shot him. But now that it's kind of happened, I think that I was able to, I think I'd be able to like see my surroundings and slow it down a little bit and realize, all right, that's just a dude with nothing. I'll just go beat the fuck out of him. But
so you're saying that basically having experienced a home invasion, now you would be more inclined to hopefully find a scenario that doesn't result in the ending of someone's life. Yeah. As opposed to just going for the gun and saying, hey, fuck you, motherfucker, you're on my property, bang, 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 you're dead, my family's safe. You would try and find a result which would, you're all safe and he's not going to cause any harm, but he's still alive.
Yeah, because you've always been kind of taught, like, and I think just in any self-defense, home invasion type of situation, you identify the person and make sure that you don't know them. So it's not like a buddy that's coming in your door or something in the middle of the night. Because I got drunk friends that just, they know how to get in. They just get in, sleep on the couch or whatever. But I think before I would have had I had that gun, I know for a fact I would have shot him. And I would have never thought twice. I would have made sure I didn't know who he was. Maybe told him to stop and gave as many commands as I could. But the second he came towards me, I'd have shot him. Now looking back at it, I'm glad that didn't happen because now I think I have the wherewithal to think, all right, assess the situation. Where's his hands? Does he have a weapon? Does he have a gun himself or whatever? And if he doesn't, then I would go to the less lethal option because I think accidentally it worked out for the best. If that makes any sense.
It makes total sense. Rebecca, I'm sorry, darling. Sorry, Anthony. I haven't got the laptop plugged in. Would you get the charger for me? Plug it in because it's going to die whilst I'm doing the show. Sorry about that, guys. So interesting.
Rebecca. That's what I need.
Yeah, you can get one. You can get one. Rebecca. Anthony said he needs a Rebecca.
We're all taking a trip to Australia to go find a Rebecca.
Yeah. I know nothing about guns. I know absolutely nothing about guns. In fact, so much so that Mickey Rourke, there's a name drop for you, but he's friends with a lot of fighters. He's a big fan of the sport. So me and Mickey are quite friendly. And I've been hanging out at his house quite a few times. And I remember one day I was there and he has guns lying around the place. And he walks up to me one day, and I think I've told the story before, so apologies if I have. But he walks up and goes, "Here, Mike, look at this. What do you think of that?" And he hands me the tiniest little gun that you've ever seen in your life. And in England, we have these, but they're lighters, for lighting a cigarette or whatever. And I legit thought it was lighters. Oh, yeah, look at that. That's cool. And I had it pointing at him going, like trying to do it. And he literally smacked it out of my hand. He said, "What the fuck are you doing? You're going to blow your own fucking head off." I was like, "Oh, shit, I thought it was a lighter." He's like, "No, Michael. That's a gun. You would have blown your own head off." That's how little I know about guns, Anthony.
That's okay. I mean, that's just it's a different culture. It's a different. There it is, right there.
Yeah.
Like a little
in England. In England, if you have a gun, regardless of the situation, it's 5 years in prison, mandatory.
Wow.
Regardless of whether or not you were fearing for your life, you had credible death threats and things like that. If you have a gun, 5 years in prison. Now, that doesn't mean that people don't carry guns. Some people do, obviously, criminals, because by definition, you're instantly a criminal. But the gangs and organized crime and stuff like that, they have access to guns. But so it's not a part of the culture. It really isn't. As I say, I'm not trying to divide the audience to talk about guns and stuff like that because don't want to do that. And I respect everyone's wishes. I would love to go shooting. What, like hunting?
No, there's a couple cool ranges. Shooting. There's a couple cool ranges in Vegas, where you can go and you can just pay them and you can shoot a whole bunch of cool shit.
I'd like to go on a hunting trip. I think I'd like to go on a hunting trip.
You should come. You should come here. You should come here to Nebraska.
I would bitch out. I would love to. Are you serious? I would love to come to Nebraska on a hunting trip. I would bitch out. I don't know if I could have a gun through the sights, look at it, see a beautiful little magnificent beast, minding its own business, looking all nice feathers, and go, "You know what? I'm going to terminate your life right now just because I fucking say so."
Yeah.
I don't think I could.
I could.
Yeah. Like my son, Lucas, he's the biggest lover of animals. He wants to be a vet. He wants to be a worldwide wildlife vet when he's older. So he's obsessed with animals. He really is. But he wants to start hunting invasive species. And he gives me this whole rundown on how invasive species need to be taken care of, Dad, and blah, 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 blah. So maybe we'll go on a BYM hunting trip. We'll bring Harrington and Brian along. They can film the whole thing, and maybe we kill Harrington by accident.
Well, you know what? We could kill two birds with one stone. We could go on this hunting trip, but we could also hunt invasive species. We go like hog hunting in Oklahoma.
Let's do it.
Totally no problem there.
Accident, Brian just put in the chat. Talking about all these guns and stuff like that, we don't want to get into this one too much, but we would be remiss. We were talking about non-MMA stories to talk about. And the thing that just kept coming back to my mind was, we do appear to be on the brink of World War III right now. And don't worry, everyone, we're going to get into all the MMA stuff in a minute. And there's lots to talk about. But we do appear to be on the brink of World War III. What I mean by that is that Russia has 200,000 troops on the border of Ukraine right now. And they ain't going anywhere anytime soon. And from what I understand, pretty soon it might all kick off.
Yeah, so I don't quite always understand the politics side of it. Fortunately, we got Brian here to explain it, but I've definitely been reading about Ukraine has got a potential big problem on their hands.
Well, go ahead, Brian.
This is my wheelhouse. The Ukrainian president literally came out the other day, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and said, "Stop talking all this shit." They were like, "You are exacerbating the situation." He was talking to Biden and Boris Johnson in particular, and he's like, "You're exacerbating the situation. Shut the fuck up. Nothing's happening. Everybody's cool. Chill." And although that's not necessarily the situation, it just seems like the rhetoric on our side is heated up a little more than it should.
Well, there's a lot of propaganda going on. There's fake attacks going on either side, because I think they're trying to get one of the parties to kick it all off. But let's be honest, you must be terrified. If you lived in one of these towns on the border and there was 200,000 Russian troops on the other side and they got warships, they're doing nuclear tests, they've got submarines in the ocean, they've got warships in the ocean, 200,000 actual men, troops, or men and women, let's be honest, 2022, doesn't matter. They've got fucking guns, they're pointed at the Ukraine. I would be shitting my pants. I did a little reading, trying to figure out what his problem was. And Ukraine was part of the USSR back in the day. And Ukraine now is a diplomatic country. It's a democracy. They vote the president. They all have freedoms. They have social media. You have all that shit. Whereas in Russia, it's still a dictatorship. And I think Ukraine, living the free lifestyle that they are, is sending bad vibes to the Russian people. And they're like, we got to take care of this. I think we'll just go take Ukraine back. And that's a very knucklehead, very, very non-understanding of the situation. So don't all flame me in the comment section, you pricks.
So what happened is when the USSR broke up, there was a pact that said that we wouldn't turn those countries into NATO countries, which would put our missiles on Russia's doorstep. It's essentially the Cuban Missile Crisis at the most basic caveman level. It's the Cuban Missile Crisis, but the other way. We are trying to put NATO missiles on Russia's doorstep, and they don't like that shit. It's a little more complicated than that, but that's the overall gist of
it. Yeah, this is already too complicated for me. I do have a question, though, Brian. Come back.
Here I am.
There we go.
I love it. That's it, Anthony. You tell these folks what to do.
Is Ukraine a real democracy, or is it like the illusion of a democracy? Because when I was in Houston, I got introduced to Tulsi Gabbard, right? Yes. And
that's right. I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. So and she was so cool, man. She was like really, really down to earth, like seemingly like a real person. I didn't feel like I was talking to a politician. She was cool. She had a drink. We were, she was a normal goddamn person. And I'd never followed her social media or anything like that. So, but I became a fan just of her as a person. I don't know her politics that well, but and I was scrolling through her Instagram feed, and there was something about I got stuck on this Ukraine thing she was talking about. And it essentially, long story short, what it said is that Ukraine claims to be a democracy, but it's not like a real democracy.
I mean, those like the former USSR countries, it's all a little sketchy. It's all, it's there's a lot of like pseudo-fascism going on where the government and the industry are all working together to make things happen. Not to say that isn't happening here anyway, but yeah, it's a blurry line.
It's a blurry line. Okay.
All right, let's just take a quick second to hear from Novo.co. Listen, if you're starting a business, a small business, every penny matters. Every little piece of money that you can save will help you. But of course, you're going to need a bank account. But that is what Novo.co is offering. But without all those bank fees, all those hidden little charges that you often get. With Novo.co, you submit your application in under 10 minutes. Easy transfers with 3 ACH transfers, mail checks, and incoming wires. No hidden fees, which means you will never be surprised by a fee again. And when you sign up, you'll gain access to Novo's game-changing perks and discounts like $20,000 in fee-free credit card processing with Stripe. Okay, Novo is a powerfully simple business checking, and unlike the traditional banking model, Novo has no minimum balances, no transaction limits, and no hidden fees. Instead of a one-size-fits-all approach, Novo is customized to your business to save you time and free up cash flow with seamless integrations to Stripe, Shopify, QuickBooks, online, and more. Sign up for Novo for free and join the community of over 150,000 fearless small businesses who have found customizable business checking solutions that admire their brave. Sign up for free business checking accounts right now at novo.co/believe. Plus, believe you me, listeners get access to over $5,000 in perks and discounts. Go to novo.co, novo.co/believe to sign up for absolutely free. Novo.co/believe. Novo Platform Incorporated is a fintech, not a bank. Banking services provided by Middlesex Federal Savings, FA, member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. All right, anyway, so enough of that about that stuff because I clearly don't know what I'm talking about, but there is something that we do know what we're talking about, something that you are one of the very best in the world at, and something that I used to be okay at as well. That is called mixed martial arts, and that is the lifeblood of this podcast. Of course, fights at the weekend, Jamahal Hill taking on Johnny Walker. Big result for Jamahal Hill. Another knockout. I mean, his punching power seems to be insane. But Anthony, this is your division. Give me your thoughts on that fight.
Yeah, it kind of went the way that I expected it to. I thought it would be a little more competitive and a little longer. But to be honest with you, I'm not here to be an asshole or be a dick, but just here to give my analysis. And the tape says Johnny Walker is he's having a tough time defensively. He's having a tough time absorbing some damage. Look
at that knockout. Look at that.
I mean, that wasn't flush by any sense of the imagination.
It was a temple shot.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. He didn't power through some nasty overhand. It was kind of off balance a little bit. Listen, Jamahal Hill's clearly got power because he knocked Jimmy Crute out just as brutally. So he's got power in his hands, man. I think he's still a little raw as far as his technique goes, but I think what he lacks and maybe some of the cleanliness of his techniques, he makes up for and just pure fucking wanting to go. Johnny Walker, man, I've said this about him from the beginning. He's always been mad at me about it because I've been super critical. Like, Johnny Walker can jump and spin and kick and flip and high fly, but goddamn it, that dude couldn't throw a straight 1-2 down the pipe and cover and roll underneath the hook if he had to. It's just, you got to get the fundamentals. I think John Kavanaugh's tried. He just doesn't have the fundamentals, both offensively and defensively. So he's taken some tough shots and some pretty nasty knockouts.
It's, I mean, we say it all the time, having all that wild shit, that unpredictable stuff that he's good at, he's great at, and he's caught some people off guard. He's clearly a big physical specimen. He's 6'6". I mean, just take one look at him. The guy's absolutely shredded. He's athletic. He can do backflips. He has very wild and orthodox striking, and he catches people with that crazy shit. But to your point entirely, the fucking fundamentals, they have to be there. The jabs, the 1-2s, they're just the basic stuff, the basic footwork, the basic kicks. Stop throwing wild, crazy, unorthodox maneuvers. You know what I mean? Fucking go back to basics. And we don't see any of that. Unfortunately, now for Johnny Walker, I mean, he got off to an incredible start. But he's been, I think he's lost 4 out of his last 5. 2 of them have been bad knockouts as well. I mean, that was a pretty bad one. But I want to go back to something you said a moment ago, Anthony. When you started off talking about this, I feel, is there any bad blood between you and Jamahal Hill? Is there a little tension there? Or am I sniffing out something that doesn't exist?
No, not that I know of. I think I've always been there. Sometimes he does talk about the division like really broadly. And so my own ego sometimes is like he's, the whole division's looking pretty tired. I'm gonna have to go give everyone a nap. Like, no, not the whole division, my friend. Like, so there's some of that, but anytime I've been around him, there's been once I was working the desk on, like, when he first got in the UFC. He had a pretty good performance. I remember I ran into him and Brian Butler at the hotel bar. He was really cool. He wanted to take a picture. It was a good experience. Then he was in the hotel bar again when I fought Jimmy Crute. Was super cool then. So I've had nothing but positive experiences. I suspect he's a guy that I'm going to see at some point in time, if he keeps doing what he's doing. But like I said, I mean, we just haven't seen a whole shit ton from him. I think he got tapped by Paul Craig, so I mean that tells me that he's got a little bit of a deficiency on the ground. But you stand in front of that guy, he's got crazy power in his hands. He's a little rough around the edges, I think, in his striking technique, but I mean, we both know that sometimes those guys are just the toughest ones. He's got just enough fundamentals to get it to land and make it a little bit ugly.
He seems to have the power, which is odd because when you look at him, he doesn't seem like the most powerful guy. But as we know, it doesn't matter. Muscles don't transfer into power. It's all technique. And it's just a lot of the time it's a God-given gift. And he certainly does seem to have that. I'm just looking at Harrington's notes here. 5-1 in the UFC, other than a bullshit no contest because he tested positive for weed. So he's 4-1, should be 5-1. The one loss was to Paul Craig. Paul Craig, as you said, and he's got tremendous jiu-jitsu. He catches a lot of people with that stuff. So it's going to be interesting. Do you have a fight booked, Anthony?
I don't have anything. I'm waiting for a matchup. So
what is he ranked? Do we know what Jamahal Hill's ranked?
I think he's got to be 10. They were ranked 10 and 12. So I don't know who was 10 and who was 12. I would suspect he was probably 12, but I guess I'm assuming he just bumped into the top 10. So yeah, man. I don't have anything scheduled. I was watching really closely because I expected if Johnny Walker won, I suspected he was going to call me out again. So I was watching.
Why? What's the beef for you and Johnny Walker? Simply because you said in probably a post-fight show, because that's your job, you're an analyst, and you probably mentioned that there's a little deficiency when it comes to the fundamentals, like we just said.
Yeah, I've been critical of some of his performances. And for whatever reason, any chance he gets, he's never said anything super disrespectful, but he's always pushed like, I want to fight that guy. I think he's ducking me, blah, 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 blah. Like, I get it. He's trying to get a big fight. So I suspected, I watched that expecting to get called out if he won, and I was ready to accept right away. But, Jamahal Hill did what Jamahal Hill does and kind of shut that down. And Jamahal Hill was really smart about it too. He didn't call anybody out. You can tell he wanted to. He's the only person he really talks about is Jiri Prohaska, which is smart. You talk about the dudes at the very top. It looked like he was being a smart businessman and not trying to attach his name to anybody right away before he had time to sit and think about it. One hand.
Yeah, that's always a smart move when you pick out or call out the top guys, because you're not going to get matched up with them. But A, it shows that you want the toughest fights possible. It shows that you want that. And B, you're not really at any danger of getting called up, because you're just not going to happen because you're fucking far too far away. However, with that record now, with the knockouts that he's getting, the impressive fashion that he does it in, and he is marketable. He does have a personality, the way he dances out to the octagon. I'm not sure how you feel about that. Between him and Johnny Walker both dancing out, it's like a fucking Saturday Night Fever contest. But Jamahal Hill, man. Jamal, he's doing incredible things. Johnny Walker, where do you think Johnny Walker goes from here?
Man, I don't know. I don't know who he, like, if we're talking guys at the middle of the road, kind of in the rankings. I think everyone's kind of got his number. That shit will work for a little while, but once you start getting and you get into these, like a guy like me or you, that's super okay. Great, you can do all that fancy athletic stuff, but like when I'm watching tape or I'm watching him fight, I immediately think, all right, for the first couple minutes, you're gonna have to stay safe. Don't do anything stupid. Let the fight settle in. Get the stupid shit out of the way, and then we can actually fight. And I think that's kind of what everyone else is doing. That's kind of what Jamahal did. Like, stay safe. Don't get outside of yourself too much. Let him get his stupid shit out of the way. And then once the fight settles in and he's run out of shit to do, then you can go and you can take him out. So I don't know how many guys in the rankings he beats at this point.
I think Johnny needs to go, as you say, it's all about the fundamentals. That is what he's lacking. Go join a good boxing gym. Take some time away from the sport. I'm listening. He's got a name. He's had a few fights. He's shot to stardom, maybe a little bit too soon, too quick, because of his athletic ability and because of those freak knockouts that he did get. But when that happens, you get thrown into the deep end. And Jamahal Hill's a ranked fighter. What was Johnny Walker, ranked 12 or 10, you said?
10. I think he was 10.
So take a little time away, because he's 4-1 in his last 5, right? Yeah. So can't afford to lose another one. Otherwise, he might be looking for a job. That's just the sad reality of the business. Join a boxing gym, work on some fundamentals, work on your boxing, work on your defense. The reason I say boxing over Thai boxing or whatever is because the defensive maneuvers and strategies in boxing is way higher than kickboxing or Thai boxing. The footwork is far, far, far improved. And of course, the hands, they're specialists with it. So if I was him, go, just take some time out and train. Learn some good grappling, some wrestling, some jiu-jitsu, and work on your fucking boxing and your fundamentals. Take some time away, recover from that knockout, because that was a bad one. I mean, geez, it was like a delayed. He got hit, and then he went back, and then he fell. And the way he cracked his head. Oh, poor guy. I mean, it was bad. It was bad. It was bad. All right, co-main event. Kyle Dawkins went out there, beat Jamie Pickett. There was no surprise there, really. I think Kyle Dawkins, he's a great grappler, and Jamie Pickett's a good striker, but, I think his weak area would be his grappling. I kind of expected that to happen.
Did you see what Jamie Pickett said about why he tapped? He said that.
Because it was 1 second left.
1 second. Did you hear what he said?
No.
He said his tongue was was stuck out, and the choke was so tight he was going to bite his tongue off. He couldn't get his jaw open. So he tapped because he was genuinely afraid that he was about to bite his tongue completely off.
Which kind of makes sense, because when I saw the Darce choke, it wasn't in properly. He wasn't even on top of the arm. The elbow was popping out. Because I said to my father-in-law, my in-laws are staying with us at the moment. I said, I think he's going to be okay. Unless the other guy's Dorcas is incredibly strong. I said, technically it's not in right. The arm isn't putting on the pressure that it needs to. The elbow's still popping out. So that makes sense. The poor guy, so his tongue was sticking out. He was about to bite his own tongue off. And he's like, no, I want to walk home with the tongue today.
No, I'm going to bite that son of a bitch off. 100%.
Oh, really? No way. No way.
I know a guy that was in a car accident. He was an older guy now. I don't even know where he's at these days, but we were kids. And I remember someone saying he had a little bit of a lisp, but like just a little bit of a speech issue. It wasn't real bad, just really little. But one of the older guys had said, he was in a car accident or something, and his chin hit the steering wheel when he hit something. Like I think he hit a cow or something on a gravel road, and his chin hit the steering wheel, and it bit like half of his tongue completely off. And they were able to sew that thing on, and he has normal taste, and he's got a little bit of a speech issue. I'd have bit that fucking
thing. But if you've ever bit your tongue when you're eating food, do you know what I mean? You bite your tongue properly. It fucking hurts, man. It hurts. So listen, maybe I've gone soft. I've been away from the octagon too long, but I'd like to think that whoa, ref, time out a minute, buddy. Hold on, just give me a second there, because I'm about to chew my own tongue off. Okay, I don't want to win the fight.
I'm not tapping. Like I might point at it.
I'm not tapping either.
I might point at it and say, hey, can we do something about this? Can you shove that fucking pig back in my mouth?
No, that's going to be a meme. No, I'm trying to play it cool, but I wouldn't have tapped either. No way.
And I'm not faulting Jamie for tapping. I'm not saying he's I don't want this to come out and say, no,
of course.
Said, he's a pussy. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying I'm stupid enough. I might have just bit that thing off.
I had the end of my finger come off. It's a bit weird. We call it the claw in our house. You probably can't see it there. We call it the claw, but it is handy for opening like packages wrapped in plastic. I can just slice it open, because the end of it got caught in a door when I was a kid. I told Lewis all about this, so I don't want to repeat the same stories, but it got caught in a door when I was a kid, and blood was spraying out the end of my finger. My mum was on the phone. She's like, Michael, you wee bastard, shut up, I'm on the phone. I'm like, blood spraying out. And then she came downstairs, and I had to go to the hospital, but they found the end of the finger still attached to the door. So they attached it back on, but it's weird, and it's a good weapon. You know what I mean? I torture Lucas with it. at night. He's like, not the claw. I'm like, the claw's going to get you. So yeah, you're right. They can sew that shit back on. We're not going to go through the entire card. We've got lots of other MMA news to get to, but we got to give a special shout out, a special mention to Jim Miller. I mean, the guy's been around forever now. And Saturday night, he tied the record for the most wins at 23 inside the octagon. How old is he? 39, I want to say. I might be wrong. Harrington just looked that up. But to be out there against these young guns, listen, Jim Miller's had a great career. He's not fighting number one contender matchups but he's taking on these young guns. And that still takes a lot of balls. 39 in August. He's had a long career. He's been at the top of the food chain for a long, long time, taking on guys, that are young, hungry, fresh, no injuries, all about making a big splash in the UFC. And he continues to dash their hopes time and time again. It's amazing what he's still doing.
Yeah, and Mota is a Factory X guy.
Yeah. Oh, one of your guys.
Yeah, well, I think he still is. Last time I was my last training camp, Mota was getting ready for Jim Miller, and something happened with the fight. Someone tested positive for COVID on that side, and it didn't happen. So not only did he beat him after he's already done 2.5 camps for him. So he's twice as prepared as he should have been. So, man, it's the guys like, your Jim Millers, the Cowboy Cerrone's, Cowboy's not necessarily having as much success as Jim Miller still is, but even Roxanne Modafferi, when we worked that one and talking about her, it's hard to win a fight in the UFC. I think sometimes maybe the fans and the viewers and stuff lose track of that part of it, not even just to get to the UFC, but to get to the UFC and win a fight is fucking hard. And to do it consistently over, year after year after year, and Jim Miller's getting older and his opponents are getting younger. You know what I mean? Like, guys are getting into the UFC and they're getting better and they're getting more dangerous earlier in life than when he first started in the UFC. I'd say the average age of his opponent is significantly younger now than it was at the beginning of his career. So for whatever reason, man, he's been able to turn the clock back a little bit and adjust and figure out his training and I don't know. It's goddamn cool to watch. I don't want to be doing it that long, but
well, to your point, excuse me, I've drank too much coffee. It's repeated on me. To your point there, a lot of people watching might say, well, hold on a minute. Jim's got the experience, which he has. And experience is a huge factor. Can't be bought, has to be earned. And it definitely helps you in there. But also on the flip side, as I was saying before, it's all that wear and tear on the body. As you say, getting to the UFC is hard. Winning a fight in the UFC is even harder. And then staying at the top for that many years, for that long. Harrington, just look up. When did Jim Miller make his UFC debut? I want to say, what do you think? Let's have a quick game here. Quick game. I'm going to say, I want to say for some reason 2008, but I know it's way soon. I
was going to say 07.
Right. Yeah. I want to say 2008, but it's the wear and tear, the training camps. I mean, it really fucking takes it out of your body. Harrington, how are you, bud? Is this the first time you've joined the camera? No, it's not. What am I saying?
No, he did the whole thing at the top with the Russian guy who got shot, remember? He started in October of 2008.
Oh,
nice.
Oh,
I
won that one. I mean, come on, still got it. Encyclopedia knowledge. All those training camps, all those, not to mention the fights, but the training camps are even harder. So to still be out there. Now he's tying Cowboy, 23 wins. Motherfucker took my record. I used to have the most wins at 21. I had the most fights, I had the most strikes, I had the most all kinds of stuff. But I guess records are made to be broken. Well done, Jim Miller. Absolutely sensational. Anything else on the main card or the fights at the weekend before we move on, Anthony?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, another great night of fights, and we got one this weekend with Islam Makachev taking on Bobby Green. Of course, it was supposed to be Beneil Dariush and Islam Makachev, #1 contender fight. Both guys, great grapplers, well-rounded skills as well. But Beneil Dariush is out. Have you ever done this? Because as soon as I heard about what the injury was, I was like, man, I've been there. The mats kind of separate, your toes go between them, and you roll your goddamn ankle. So Beneil's out there, he's working his ass. Is that what happened? That's what fucking happened, apparently, yeah. Brett Okamoto said he was there, he was sparring. And like, you know, you dig your feet in, and it kind of goes in between, if it's not like a big full mat, like you see in some gyms, if it's individual mats that link together, the mats separated. He rolled his fucking ankle, and now he's out of the #1 contender matchup this weekend. Such a shame.
Yeah, that's terrible. Yeah, I've seen, you know what? But here's a good story. In 2000, I want to say 2008, maybe 2009. It was the first UFC event in Nebraska. Main event was Josh Neer versus Nate Diaz. It was a fight night. Joe Lozon fought on it. Stipe Miocic had his second fight, I believe, in the UFC on that card.
Hold on, what year was this?
I think it was 2008 or 2009.
Right.
Maybe a little later, maybe 10. I don't know. Anyways, I was working for the athletic commission, like checking fighters' tapes. Like I wasn't.
You've
signed.
been around, Mr. Smith. I didn't know you used to do this.
Yeah. I wasn't signed to the UFC. I wasn't even Strikeforce yet. So this is before then. Right. And the athletic commissioner here in Nebraska is one of the first guys I ever trained with. So I can make some extra money, kind of get a feel for it. He would have me work the athletic commission for some of these events. And so like I remember Stefan Struve was on that card. There ended up being a bunch of pretty big name guys that no one really knew at the time. But I'm trying to remember this guy's name. He was a Jackson Wink guy, but he was warming up for the fight. And same thing, he was moving around, he was hitting pads. And one of the mats separated, and he rolled his goddamn ankle there. Literally, he had already hit pads, was already warmed up. They're coming down to get him, and he wanted to get one last little on right before he walked, and rolled his goddamn ankle right before he walked.
Such a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
No. Well, I'm just trying to think of other ones like that. I'm talking to Jeremy Stevens earlier. Remember, was it last year? Jeremy Stevens and Drakkar Klose.
Yeah.
At the weigh-ins. But Jeremy pushes him. He thought he was fine. And then they're at the fight. And we were literally expecting them to walk out. That's how short notice it was. And then we got in the earpiece. They said, his neck's all fucked up apparently from the push. So, but anyway, Beneil Dariush is out. So rest up, Beneil. Hope you're well, my friend. It's such a class act, that guy. That would have been a tremendous fight. But one man's door closes, one opens for another one. In steps Bobby Green, fresh off a dominant performance just a week ago over Nasrat Haqparast. Sean
Loeffler. That was him. Yeah. What year was
Sean
that?
Loeffler.
That was the guy that rolled his ankle right before he walked.
But yeah,
2012.
Bobby Green now steps up against Islam Makachev. We'll talk about this more in depth on Thursday, but I did a YouTube video on this, and people in the comments were like, what are you talking about, Bisping? I'm like, I think, and maybe I'm just getting a little carried away, a little romance. I understand how great Islam Makachev is. I understand the reign of dominance that he has, that he's a protege of Khabib. He's got tremendous wrestling. The way that he took out Dan Hooker was beautiful. And he's shown good striking and well-rounded skills, good conditioning, an entire skill set. But I think Bobby Green coming in on a week's notice, no pressure whatsoever. He's just here to save the day, get a paycheck, and maybe become the number one contender. I think when you look at his boxing, Bobby Green, and call me stupid, but I think he's got an advantage on the feet. He's very, very slick. He can wrestle very well. He's got a beautiful sprawl. I'm commentating the fight. I'm not saying that Bobby Green wins. I'm saying that I think this is a very, very competitive fight, and it wouldn't blow my mind if Bobby Green pulled off the upset.
Dude, I'm happy you said it, because I thought I was the only one, to be honest with you. I'm not saying that he's going to be the favorite, but
correct.
There is a path that exists where Bobby Green can win. When I sat there in Houston and watched Bobby Green, the way that he moves defensively, how good he is. I mean, that guy, his reaction time is so fast. You know, that guy sees everything coming. He rolls really well. He's got really good footwork. The only thing that I would be cautious about if I was Bobby Green, sometimes he starts to get a little comfortable and he sets his feet a little bit. But most of the time, he's moving his feet. His angles are good. He's got really good head movement. He rolls his entire shoulders and stuff to hit an angle. Islam's got a tough fight on his hands. I'm not saying he's going to win or he's not. I don't know, but if I had to put money on it right this second, it might go on Islam. But
and that's a smart bet. And that's a smart bet because Islam's got the hype. I'm just saying that for Islam now. And you've got to give credit to Islam as well, because often when somebody steps in at the last minute, all the credit goes to them. They're like, wow, Bobby Green. And of course, much respect, but also to Islam, because Islam could have turned around and said, well, hold on, no, brother, this is number one contender matchup, and this is number one bullshit. I am fighting Benil Dariush, not today, maybe in 2 months, but I not fight Bobby Green. But he said yes, and I know that's a terrible Islam, and if he doesn't sound anything like that,
that's a pretty good Islam.
Yes, brother, yes, they all sound the same. This is my Khabib, this is my Mahachev, this is my Khamzat Chimaev. They all sound fucking same, no problem. But still, you got to give him some credit, because he's taking on Bobby Green. It's a completely different opponent. It shows a lot of courage from Islam. It shows the belief that he has in himself. And as I say, I just think he should get some credit. I think, to your point, I think Bobby's got to try and put Islam on the back foot. It's not going to be easy. But if he allows Islam to be pushing forward, back him up against the fence, certainly in the apex where it's a smaller octagon, if Bobby backs up against the fence and Islam can shoot, get hold of a leg or something, then that could be, it's going to be a problem for Bobby. He needs to stay out in the open. He needs to put Islam on the back foot. But I think it's a competitive fight.
I agree with you 100%. There's more than one way to get it done. You know, like I think the Benil Dariush route is to fight Islam on his own terms. You know, it's kind of to go into his wheelhouse, because Benil is equally as dominant on the ground, just in a different area. So it's a different game. So we're going to find out whose ground game is different and whose style, works the best on the other guy. But there's another way to do it. You don't have to beat him in his own game. You can just avoid it completely. And I think that's the route that Bobby Green has to take. He's got to figure out a way to stop the forward pressure. He's got to stay off the fence. He's got to keep his footwork going. He's got the conditioning to do it. Bobby Green never gets tired. He's definitely gonna touch Islam every time he comes into range. And I think we're gonna find out a lot about Islam, because he's gonna have to grind a little bit, because Bobby Green's not gonna go away.
Yeah, and we're going to find out about his chin, because he hasn't been touched too many times. Adrian Martins knocked him out or TKO'd him, early in his UFC run, so it's not like he hasn't been touched before. So it's interesting. It really is. Are you going to be working the event, Anthony? Are you going to be there?
No, I'm not working. I don't got another one until the pay-per-view, Masvidal Covington.
Right. Oh, you're working that one. Yeah,
Yep.
they
I think I'm on
they don't call me up very often for those pay-per-views. God damn. Well, seeing as you're not working the event at the weekend, Anthony, we're going to put you on the spot. Come on. Official prediction.
Yeah, I got to think. My brain, okay, my heart says Bobby Green because I'm just so connected to Bobby Green. I wouldn't even say like we're good friends. We've just always had a really strong mutual respect for each other because we came up in Strikeforce together at the same time. Came up with the UFC at the same time. So it's just always been really fun to watch him be successful. My brain says that he's up against it a little bit without a full training camp and the ability to really dial in. Bobby Green can wrestle, but he has a week isn't enough time to really hone in that part of his skill set. You know, he just fought a guy who there wasn't a whole lot of threat of a takedown coming his way, you know? So, my brain says if Bobby Green had a 8 or 9 week training camp, he's got a much better shot at it. I might even lean his direction, but I think right now, just come in short notice, not a lot of time to prepare for the wrestling, probably Islam, but my heart's with Bobby.
I think, no, and I totally agree. You know, I just think I'm just really happy for Bobby after all the time he's had in the UFC, the ups and the downs, the performances that he's put on. Now getting the main event. And we talked about that after his last fight. Said this guy deserves a main event of a fight night now. That's precisely what he's getting. He's going to get the recognition that he deserves. Unfortunately, it's against one of the guys that people are pegging at being the next champion of the world. Talking of that, flawless segue, lightweight champion of the world is Charles Oliveira. Harrington, point number 2 in the notes. Give us a little color, give us a little background, and I believe we've got a video to go with this. Show yourself, Harrington. You've had enough time to press the button. Come on, son. What you got, bro?
I am pretty psyched about this because according to like this video that Charles Oliveira put out on social media, it looks to me like he's preparing for a war with Justin Gaethje that's going to take place in the pocket. Like he is 100% sparring and seemingly preparing for Justin Gaethje. If you want to bring up the video.
What the?
Which one's Oliveira? Because it's very small on my laptop screen. Or
in the yellow.
With the yellow shorts. Yeah. Holy shit.
Right?
And then a nice double leg to end it.
He's trying. He is not going to do that. No way.
No, Justin Gaethje. Not if you're smart.
No.
Not if you're smart. However, Charles has shown an ability to take a shot since going back up to 155.
Yeah.
He got dropped off Dan Hooker and stuff, but he came back. So now he starts how you finish. But still, fighting Justin Gaethje, that's not really the approach. Maybe a double leg after the end of those combinations, maybe to catch him, but even still, trying to take down Justin Gaethje, that might not be a smart approach either because the takedown defense is absolutely ridiculous. Do we have a date for that, Anthony, do you know, or Harrington? Is there a date set? Is it? I
think it's set. I don't know what it is, but I think it is set. I just don't think shooting doubles. He's not shooting doubles and singles on Gaethje. It's this. I guarantee he's going to take him down the same. He's going to try to take him down the same way that he took down Dustin Poirier. Going to be up against the fence. He's going to attach himself to him and just try to those trips and just drag on him and sweep the leg, go to the back and he's good. He's really good right there. He's just like a snake. He gets a hold of you and just slowly pulls himself up and it gets tighter and tighter and tighter. But I mean, if I'm his coach, there's no way that I'm saying, all right, here's the deal. We're going to stand in the pocket. We're going to throw hook after
we're going to trade.
We're going to trade. We're going to trade with him in the pocket.
Steve's got the better chin.
Yeah. And then you're going to shoot a double leg. Not happening.
Yes.
Not happening.
No coach is saying that. Yeah, okay. I'm just going to steal your lines. But it's like, yeah, just fucking, we're going to have an absolute all-out war, slugfest. But he hits harder, coach. Yeah, no, don't worry about that. You hit hard as well. Okay, he's got a good chin, coach. Yeah, but so do you. Let's stand there, back and forth, just smack. Then you're going to surprise him with a double leg. But coach, he's a really good wrestler. He's a state champion. Don't worry about it. You didn't wrestle. You're good at jiu-jitsu, but you're going to catch him off guard. No, that is not the plan at all. However, I kind of hope it is because it would be absolutely bloody awesome. I think that fight card was going to be the one in Brazil with Nunes and Juliana Pena, I think. But then it got scrapped because of COVID. So now it's going to happen in the US. Talking of COVID, all the COVID restrictions have been removed in the UK right now. Did we talk about this at the top of the show?
I don't know if we did. We
No.
talked about it off air, I think.
Yeah, that's why I'm a little confused. Yeah, all of it gone. All of it utterly and completely back to normal. So much so that even, and this doesn't make sense to me, even if you've got COVID, you catch COVID, you don't have to quarantine. That's what they're telling everyone on TV. If you got quarantine, you're like we would like it if you did, but legally you don't have to. You know, which just seems a little silly after the 2.5 years of fucking draconian lockdowns.
So you're telling me the Queen could go shopping right now?
Dude, well, that was going to be my segue, Harrington.
Yeah,
Thanks for stealing it.
Ass.
The fucking Queen, old Lizzie, she's got COVID, but it doesn't matter. She can go shopping down Tesco's later. Yeah. Anyway, we're not getting into COVID. All right, let's just take a quick second to hear from Shopify. Do you have a small business? Do you want to get online? Do you want to connect with customers? Do you want to connect with the entire World Wide Web? The billions of people around the world, that's what you should be doing. Shopify is more than a store. Connect with your customers, drive sales, and manage your day to day. Listen, as I said before, whatever your business is, you need to take it online. Shopify gives entrepreneurs the resources once reserved for big businesses. So upstarts and startups alike and established businesses alike can sell everywhere, synchronize online and in-person sales, and effortlessly stay informed. Scaling your business is a journey of endless possibility. Look, listen, if you want to take your business online, it can be very expensive. It can be very complicated. Basically, that's what Shopify is going to do for you. It's going to make it very, very simple. Once you are online, like mine, Shopify powers over millions of businesses from first sale to full scale. Reach customers online and across social networks with an ever-growing suite of channel integration and apps, including Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, and more. Gain insights as you grow with detailed reporting of conversion rates, profit margins, and beyond. It is more than a store. Shopify grows with you. This is the possibilities which are powered by Shopify. Look, you want to get online. You want it done nice and simple. Shopify does it all for you in a clean, quick, efficient manner, and we're going to save you some money. Go to shopify.com/believe, all lowercase, SHOPIFY, shopify.com, all lowercase, /believe, of course, for a free 14-day trial and get full access to Shopify's entire suite of features. Grow your business with Shopify today. Go to shopify.com/believe right now, shopify.com/believe. Where were we? What else? Harrington, show yourself. Come back, buddy. Give us the next story, but don't give us the next story. Don't give us the number 3, but give us another one.
Don't give you number 3. Okay.
Don't give me number 3.
All right. How about?
Well, now we have to say what number 3 is.
Yeah. What number 3 is? Now I'm thrown up.
Okay. So in Bellator over the weekend, and trust me, right? If Bellator's being brought up, it's because something very, very, very cool happened. Chance Recounter got hit with a spinning kick to the ribs. It broke 5 ribs and punctured a lung.
Oh, I seen this.
Yeah.
Andrei Koreshkov. Yeah, he's a nasty son of a bitch. I used to train with him a lot. He's a Russian with Alexander Shlemenko. He was the welterweight champion for a little bit, right? Until I think it was one Ben Askren. Ben Askren beat him up pretty good. But Koreshkov's really, really good. But let's take a look at it.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
No.
I actually did the same thing to his coach, Shlemenko. Exact same kick. But spinning back kicks. Oh, look at that.
Look at all those broken ribs.
Man. Yeah, well, we play games. That's the thing people don't realize. But Harrington, no, come on, give us a fun one. There you go. That's why I said don't do that. So, all right, fight Bellator, broken ribs. Coolio, bro.
All right, you want a fun one? How about this? Hamzat and Darren Till got in the gym together, and Darren Till was on the wrong end of some shit talking for once.
Oh, really? In what sense?
Well, I mean, Hamzat was giving it to him as he was working out. He was putting in work. Hamzat was putting him through the paces, and Hamzat did not like his work ethic and was using some choice words to get Darren motivated.
I have videos of all of this stuff that I was sent to me by the guys at Block Acid. Block Acid are a company that we're involved with, but it's got music all over it. And if we put it on, we're going to get pulled down off YouTube for copyright claims and whatnot. So I've asked them for it. We'll play it on the next one. But yeah, Darren's out in Sweden, training with Gustafsson, training with Hamza and many, many other people. And the training sessions look phenomenal because I've seen some of the videos. But the word on the street, though, is what I'm hearing is that from these guys that I know that are there filming, they're saying Hamza's a fucking maniac. They said Hamza is just taking it to everybody in the gym. It's wild. It's wild. I mean, of course, he's only had four fights undefeated, only taken one significant strike. But from what we've seen and from what I hear, I don't know. It could be an interesting fight for Kamaru Usman one day.
Man, I hear the same thing. It makes me want to train with him.
Yeah.
Like when you were saying that, I was like, damn, they're in Sweden. I should just jet over there real quick. Like, let's fly
Get over there.
Yeah, like I'll just go for like a week and just check it out.
That would be fucking amazing. I'll come along. I'll hold your bags.
Yeah,
I'm not training and my knees are fucked.
Dude, that's what I've been, when I watched some of the videos and Darren looked tired. He does look heavy. Darren's
but he's had some time out. His knees have been jacked up. Do you know what I mean? From his last fight, he's been doing stem cell and stuff. That's what happens. You get a little heavy, you get a little out of breath, you get a little tired.
Yeah, he's not in fight shape. He's not in fight shape. He's trying to get back. So, it didn't seem fair. That's what I'm getting at. Like he is a little heavy. You can tell he's been out for a while. He's been injured. Like, goddamn, give the guy a break.
How bad does your conditioning get out of fight camp? Like the furthest part before you start coming back in. I mean, do you get not physically, not to the eye, but in terms of your lungs and your stamina?
It depends. Like, depends on how much I'm not doing. If I stay in there and just do jujitsu and try to stay in decent shape, not too bad. But if I just let myself really fall off, I get in real bad shape. Like my cardio will be trash.
Harrington, give us some. I can't believe we're talking about this guy. Let Me Bang Bro. Oh God. Are you familiar with the Let Me Bang Bro? Can we pull up a video of this? Brian, have a look.
Let me bang, man. I want to do that, man. Let me I do.
Because it's the bit from The Ultimate Fighter. It's the most cringiest thing on earth. Just let me bang, bro. Just let me bang. And anyway, he's fighting. I thought this guy disappeared for good, but apparently he's killing it in the bare knuckle FC world. Went up against Mike Perry. Harrington, come back on. Show yourself. Give a little color to Anthony Smith. I'm sure he already knows the color that you're going to give, but still give it in full color. Please.
Sorry, I was just hardcore Googling looking for that clip. Julian Lane and Mike Perry, obviously they got into it at a BKFC event a few months ago. There was a lot of, bad blood building up in the press conference throughout. They had a fight. Mike Perry got the knockdown and he got the split decision win.
Hold on. But you're skimming past the fun part. Did you see the press conference, Anthony? Did you see? I didn't see the press conference, but I saw a clip on social media.
Is that where he pulled out the baseball bat or whatever?
He pulled out a baseball bat. It was a plastic baseball bat that somehow was convertible into a dildo. And
no shit! I didn't know that.
Waving a dildo in Julian Lane's face, which probably is a reasonable thing to wave at that guy. Yeah, it's funny. Can we play that, Harrington or Brian? Can we pull up that clip of the press conference because you got to see it. Brian, Harrington, anyone there?
They hate
Hello.
They hate
there it is. There's the link. There's the link.
I was just sending it through. We'll have it up.
Am I right? It was a dildo.
Julian Lane. I can't believe that guy still. Look, he went right to it too.
But there, so he pulls out the bat, and then people are like, "Whoa!" It's not even a bat though. It's made of foam and rubber. Whatever it did. I saw it on social media. It kind of. There's a secret bit inside, and he pulled out as a pink dildo, and he's waving a pink dildo. I mean, Mike Perry, the guy's out of his goddamn mind. I
love that guy.
Yeah, I'm happy for him. I'm happy he's making money. I'm happy he's still winning. Listen, Mike Perry on the feet, he was a good fighter. He was very entertaining. He was a little lacking in some of the other departments, which is why he struggled in the UFC. But on the feet, he could mix it up with most people.
Yeah, he really got my respect when he beat Paul. There's a little bit of a weight class difference there.
Paul.
Felder.
Oh crap! Yeah. Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah. Sorry. Pardon me. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and Paul went up to 70, and there was a size difference, strength stuff. I think Paul had a broken arm too at some point in time, but either way, I thought he looked really good. Paul Felder is a hard dude to hang in there with on your feet, so he got my respect then.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. Harrington, all right, what else we got? We've got a few more stories to get into. I'm looking at them right here. Kevin Holland and Sean Strickland going back and forth chatting shit. I mean, this shouldn't be. We can't report every time Sean Strickland's talking shit to people because that just seems to be the life that he lives. Do you know Sean particularly well, Anthony?
No, not well at all.
Yeah,
No.
I used to train with him a lot.
Enough to chit chat when we see each other, but not well.
Yeah. He's grown on me. He has, because he used to bother me a little bit, but I like him now. He came on the show a while ago and he talked about, some of his childhood and some of the trauma that he went through. His dad sounded like a real piece of work. His dad used to threaten to kill his mother all the time and stuff like that, So he went through some stuff as a child, which isn't surprising, considering the way that he is now. But Rocco's been talking shit about him. He's been talking shit about Kevin Holland. Which one do you want to start with, Harrington?
Well, I was going to say it's both guys who've been responding, right? So Kevin Holland, I thought was the funnier of the two, right? Kevin Holland said, you're calling me out for walking around like I got my chest puffed out. He's like, I got a bird chest. My chest is always puffing out. Like, wait, is this really what we're fighting about here?
And that's it. You want us to expand on that, on Kevin Holland having a bird chest. That's the story that Harrington is going to provide us with. The other one with Luke Rockhold, there's a little more meat on the bone with that one, Harrington. Unless do you have an in-depth analysis, Anthony, on Kevin Holland having a bird chest?
No, he definitely has a bird chest. He
definitely does. He's a bit of a skinny one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he also said...
But before we get into this Rockhold thing, are you and Rockhold friends?
We're okay. We're not friends. We don't share texts. We don't communicate at all, in fact. But I see him... I've seen him a few times down at Ruka, and I say hi, and we shoot the shit and whatever, very, very loosely, very awkwardly. Do you know what I mean? We'll say hi. Friends is a bit of a bridge too far.
It was so sad when I seen you guys like in a picture together or something, like you were on the bag and he was on the bag, but it was very clear that you guys were in the same room.
Yeah.
I was so disappointed.
Why?
Because I feel like we had this team where it was like you, me, and Weidman. And we were like on this He-Man Luke Rockhold haters club. And then you left the team. Why don't you like Luke Rockhold?
I wasn't aware.
He is. I don't want to get into this again because then every goddamn.
No, come on. No, please get into it.
I'm telling you, every media outlet's going to grab this. Mark my words. They're going to grab it and they're going to cut it.
Well, let them grab it.
It's going to get out there. And then my wife's going to get mad because I talked about Luke Rockhold again. Anyways, when I was getting ready to fight John Jones, Luke Rockhold was moving to 205 and he just had all this shit to talk. And I mean, he just disrespected the absolute shit out of me. Like, talked so bad about me. I'd never done anything to that guy my whole life.
Sounds like Luke.
So then I freak out. Like, I lose because I don't do that shit. Like, I'm not the like hype a fight type of guy. Like, if I'm talking trash about you, I'll fight you. Like, we'll never make it to a fight because I don't do the disrespect thing.
Because you got a car full of guns.
It might be. But I just got so angry and it just spiraled from there because then I'd say something, and he'd say something, and then it'd just go back and forth. And he's just such an arrogant piece of shit. And I've just heard nothing but terrible things about that guy personally and how he's treated people and just terrible things. And then, I didn't even like him that much before he talked trash about me because of like the Weidman stuff and like the way that he treated you going into your guys' second fight or whatever,
Yeah.
Like, this dude's a fucking, in my mind, I was looking like this guy's a goddamn legend. He's stepping in on short notice. And like, you're going to sit up there all the beginning of the show, believe, achieve. Yeah. Like that shit was hilarious to me, but I just remember thinking like, what a douchebag. And then he just has always come at me really hard all the time. So, and then on the flip side, then he's like not able to stay awake while he's at work. Like after that. So like, Jan Blachowicz just fucking KOs him.
Was that a joke
KO
about him getting knocked out all the time?
Yeah, he falls asleep on the job all the time. It's just
Brian, that's precisely what it was, and it was very well worded. Come on, Brian.
It's just like he sucks now. And okay, that's a lie. I don't want to put it out there like that. I think he's good. No. I think he's very skilled. He's super dangerous. He's got insane kicks. He's got good power. He's a great wrestler. He's a fantastic guy on top. But defensively, he's not good enough to beat anybody worth a fuck. And I guess that's what I'm getting at.
Well, that leads me to something, because I don't want to sit here and chat shit about him. But I tell you what, because I just have respect through our partnership with Jason Perillo. Jason's my coach,
which I get.
And Perillo is now coaching him. Yeah, and you know. Imagine if one of your coaches were another guy, you wouldn't want to be talking shit about him in the media all the time.
Totally get it.
Yeah, exactly. We're not buddies. We're not friends. As I said, I don't even think I've got his number. But I saw an interview with him on Submission Underground, the Australian podcast, and he was talking about Paulo Costa. And I got to say, he was acting very bizarre, very weird, and I'm not sure if he was doing it on purpose. Like he was like leaning around a lot. He was like a little incoherent. He wasn't answering the questions. Some of the answers that he was giving were fucking very unusual. They were very, he was talking about Paulo Costa. He said he's like a duck. He can fly and he can swim, but he can't do anything great and all this type of stuff. I don't know. I don't know if he was trying purposely to be like a Nate Diaz type character, or
that's how he gets.
Or if he's just suffering severe consequences of being knocked out a few times.
Almost every time he's talked a bunch of shit about me, it's been on that same Australian podcast.
Oh, really?
And it's like he's always in the middle of a meal, or was he eating food too then?
He was doing something. He's too important to actually dedicate the time to this. Kind of like Masvidal as well.
He's playing with his dog, or he's eating a salad, and he's like, he won't look at the camera, and he's just like, he's like,
just too cool.
He's outside by the pool or something. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, like, or he's laying on a surfboard, or like something super douchey, and it's always when he's talking trash about somebody, and I think he's just uncomfortable. I think if he just be who you are and stop trying to just fight, just win a fight, and people take you serious.
The dog thing, it does bother me. I'm just going to throw it out there, and I hope this doesn't cause any problems down at Ruka. But he brings his dog in, what I mean? And the dog's running around the mat. Do you know what I mean? Dogs lick their own balls. They eat their own feces. Do you know what I mean? We are rolling around on the mat. When we as humans who shower every day, they mop the mats afterwards, the dog is running around on the mats. And I'm like, Luke, I know no one else is saying anything, but you want to clearly get your shit-eating, ass-licking dog off the mats and tell it to fucking stay where it is, please. But anyway, he's talking about fighting Paulo Costa when he comes back. I think that's a good fight for him. Not necessarily a good fight for him. I think it's a good fight, and it would propel him back into those conversations if he was victorious. However, tough fight.
Yeah. Listen, I think Luke's got all the skills and abilities in the world. I mean, I don't know how much of those have diminished as he's gotten a little bit older and not staying super active. I think that's something that's a question that he's going to have to answer when he's in there. But we're just talking about the best Luke Rockhold can be. He's really dangerous southpaw, nasty kicks. I've heard horror stories about how good his top game is and how good his wrestling is. I think he's got all the skills and abilities to beat Paulo Costa for sure. I think it'd be exciting. Those guys are going to go out there and they're going to swing big. I think it'd be the kicking game of Luke Rockhold versus the explosions of Paulo Costa. I think that's a good fight.
Yeah, no, and a logical matchup for both guys. Yeah, I would as well. I think it would be very competitive. On that note, talking of, and who else were we talking about? But of Luke, being knocked out and then coming back and maybe potentially not being the same fighter. I think he's still got a lot to a lot to give, in the sport. But we'll see. Next weekend, UFC 272, massive pay-per-view. Jorge Masvidal taking on Colby Covington. And I did a video on this on my YouTube just before. And I want to get your perspective on this. Masvidal's had a very, very long career. And we're not going to get into picks, predictions, or anything too much. I just want to ask you about this one situation. Because that's next week's show. So we don't want to you don't want to ruin next week's flow. But Masvidal's coming off a KO. The first time of his career. Okay, he was TKO'd in 2008 in Strikeforce against Rodrigo Dam. But a TKO is very different to having your conscious taken away. Lying on the floor. Kamaru Usman knocked him the fuck out. And I'm not saying that disrespectfully. That's what happened. Everybody knows it was a beautiful right hand, separated him from consciousness, and he was out for a while on the ground. Coming back from that, and I'm not sure, have you ever been flatlined like that, Anthony?
One time. Yeah, one time in 2011. Adlon Amagov put me
So,
all the way out.
So you know what I'm talking about. Obviously, UFC 100 for me is a very famous one. When you come back from that, the psychological issues, trauma, not for everybody, but for some people. And I'm very curious because he's 37 years old. This will be his 51st professional fight. Because when you go into a fight and you've never been knocked out, you're like, hey, listen, I can go in there against anyone and I'll never get knocked out. I've done this. I've done it forever. No one's ever done it yet. In his last fight against Usman, that did happen to him. And as we see with Rockhold, you know, he kind of had a fall from grace after I knocked him out. A few others came. What's some other examples? Chuck Liddell was one. You know, once he got knocked out, he went downhill. What other examples? What other examples is there? I'm sure there's many, many, many. Once you get knocked out, it can change. It doesn't have to, and it doesn't mean it will, but it can. And history has shown that does happen. But Masvidal's a very tough mentally guy, spiritually, you know, in terms of his fighting spirit. I don't think that's going to fade. But what do you think? What do you think? Do you think that will subconsciously affect him on the night when it comes down to it?
I don't think so. Not with this fight. I think if he was fighting someone else that was I don't know, a big, huge power puncher that had been putting people out consistently, I don't know if Colby Covington's ever knocked anyone out like that. So
Never.
I think that they've probably been they've been in the room and on the mats enough times and sparred enough rounds with each other. Masvidal knows exactly the punching power that Colby has and where he's dangerous, and you know, so I think that at least in that end of it, I think he knows him well enough to know whether he can knock him out or not. So I would suspect that Masvidal's not going to have a lot of respect for Colby Covington's striking abilities, which I think is a mistake, to be honest with you. I don't, not because I think Colby's going to, again, not to get too deep into the breakdown, but is Colby going to flatline anyone? Probably. I don't think so. But his volume is super, super high. Like, you know, even if you back off the skill and technique a little bit, but you up the output 50%, you still have a problem on your hands. So I think that's where the issue is going to be with the striking. It's just going to be super high volume. And if Masvidal can't back him off with his own power shots, Colby has no reason to take a step backwards. Masvidal's not going to out wrestle him. He's not going to out grind him. He's not going to push him up against the fence. Colby can genuinely walk straight forward, throwing 900 punches an hour, and have no reason to not do that. So that's tough. And
generally, Masvidal has a really good chin because he's a guy that was fighting at 155, stepping up to 170. You know, he fought a lot of his career at 155. If you look at Darren Till, obviously Masvidal knocked him out. He's a bigger welterweight, skimming his body down to make 170. You know, so that affects your ability to take a shot. So, and of course, Usman is the pound for pound number one. He's a big welterweight. He's got tremendous power. So there's no shame in that. I wasn't throwing any what's the word that the kids say? These say shade. I wasn't throwing any shade towards Masvidal. You know what I mean? I was just a curious one there. All right, what else have we missed? Have we missed anything? Oh, Israel Adesanya, Harrington, show yourself. Give us the quote from Israel. We'll discuss this one, and then we'll finish on some questions.
Yeah, so Israel Adesanya said that he can, you know, he sympathized a little bit with Anderson Silva. You know, he said later on at UFC 271, we thought Rob was going to press the action because you're down. His corner's saying he's down, and he's just moving away. There was one point where he was drifting and trying to set me up for a trap, and I was like, that's my move. I went back to the center, and then he came to the center, and we kept on fighting. But yeah, I'm starting to feel that trap. Same thing at UFC 112, Abu Dhabi. Damian Maia. People were just like, oh, Silva's this and that. And they completely forget that it's just recency bias. But I had fun. Just one thing I'm glad I had fun. I was present in the first round in the last bell. My last fight before I got bored because I was just like, this guy's not a threat. He doesn't pose any threat.
Yeah, I mean, Israel shouldn't do that. He's basically making an excuse for why it wasn't the fight of the year. Do you know what I mean? The reality is when you're fighting at the top of the food chain, which he is, when he's taking on number one contenders every time, it's great to go out there and have those kind of fights that everyone's out of the seat and they're screaming and going crazy and they can't wait to see you fight again. But when you're defending the belt, and to his point, just like Anderson Silva, and I think I said this on commentary, Anderson had a few fights which were forgettable. You know, Damian Maia, that was one of them. I think there was a couple of others as well. And that's just how it is. Tally's latest, that was a terrible fight. Boring as fuck. I remember staying up all night to watch that. You know, that's just the way it is. I don't think Israel, I think maybe he's, you know, maybe looking at the comments or the social media or whatever, because it seems like Robert Whittaker has a lot of fans. I'm still getting over my biased commentary. Do you know what I mean? The attacks. You said earlier on Twitter that you looked at a tweet that I put out there, and the attacks that I was getting were fucking wild, which I didn't see, by the way, but still.
Yeah.
What do you think, Al?
I think he's reading in the comments a little bit. He's probably getting in his feelings, and you know, it sucks to read all the negative shit about you. At the same time, though, you know, he said these guys aren't coming to attack me. These guys aren't doing this, and that's making boring fights. Listen, bro, you could do the same thing. You know, you can say the same thing about yourself. And I'm not the champion of the world, so don't listen to a goddamn thing I say. But if you're going to be bothered by that kind of commentary and that kind of, I don't know, comments that people, you know, the boring tag that you keep getting and it's not that exciting, like, you can do something about that as well. It takes two to fight. So if they're not attacking and you're worried about the comments, then why don't you go do it? I get it. Like, he wants to keep his title, so he's doing what he's got to do to win. I'm not knocking it at all, but you can't always just blame the other guy for the boring fight, though.
No, correct. I totally agree. But I think Izzy's been an exciting fighter for the UFC. I mean, yeah, okay.
I think that's when he has someone chasing him. I think that's but
that fight against Paulo Costa.
He's not going to go first. Izzy's
the fight against Paulo Costa was amazing. The fight against Yoel Romero was one of the worst pieces of shit you'll ever see in your life. And it was the same thing. Yoel was patient, and Yoel didn't do much, and then Izzy didn't do much. It was a 5-round decision, right? But the Paulo Costa one was amazing. The knockout of Robert Whittaker was great. Derek Brunson, he's had some good performances. He's had some very exciting.
Those are also guys that are chasing him down, that are attacking him. Every time he's had a fight where his opponent isn't willing to get outside of themselves to get into an attack, this is kind of what we end up with. Like, he's not necessarily willing to do that either, which is, you know, again, he's a champion of the world. It's working. But you also can't be mad at people, you know, giving you some shit about it.
Where would you put him in the middleweight GOATs conversation? I know where I would put him. I'd put him second behind Anderson Silva. I don't think he can even touch Anderson Silva's record right now, just purely on numbers alone. I think Anderson defended the belt 12 times, went 16 fights unbeaten. 14 of those fights were stoppages, 12 knockouts, 2 submissions. I think just on numbers alone. But still, I put him as a firm number 2, though.
He's nowhere close. He's not over Anderson at all.
No.
I think if you were to say who's the best middleweight of all time, probably Izzy. The greatest of all time? Like, if you're looking at skills and abilities.
Because if you compared Anderson then to Izzy now, you mean if you put Anderson in his prime versus Izzy in his prime?
Yeah, I think Izzy is the better fighter. Just because
I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know if I agree with that. And I'm not hating on Izzy. I like Izzy a lot. And it's not because I beat Anderson Silva, so therefore I'm like, oh, no. But if you look at the way, the diversity of attacks, the knockouts, the methods, the knees, that head movement against Forrest Griffin, stepping up to light heavyweight on 2 occasions. Forrest Griffin was 1 fight removed from being the champion. What was the other guy? James Irwin, was it?
James Irvin.
Irvin, yeah, James Irvin. He was a powerful guy. Submissions, you know. I don't know. I understand what you're saying.
Well, the GOAT by far is Anderson Silva. Just title defenses, fights won, you know. I mean, goddamn, just forget the whole GOAT talk. Watching Anderson Silva walk out was a goddamn spectacle. like when DMX would come on and the music.
Oh
would go
God,
down.
it was the best.
It was the fucking best. God damn it. I don't know. I can't imagine what it felt like to be the dude that's getting ready to fight him when that happens. Jesus Christ. That'd be wild. I can't imagine what
that's why I wanted to fight him so badly. Because I had so much respect for him. And by the way, it's coming up to, I think in just a few days, the anniversary of when I did fight him. But no, I had so much respect, you know what I mean? And I was such a fan of his that in order to fight him and to be able to beat him, I had to strip him down of all his accolades. I couldn't look at him as this guy, this reigning dominant champion, this guy that ran the middleweight division for years. Because if I did that, I'd give him too much respect. So I clutched on or grasped on to the fact that he failed steroid tests and stuff like that to just bring him down from being, to humanize him. I was just about to say, so I didn't look at him like a god. I look at him as a man, and a man that had to cheat. Do you know what I mean? Because I want to go out there and put my best foot forward. I wanted to win, you know, and if you look at them and you idolize them too much, it is going to subconsciously affect your output, affect your performance, and ultimately affect how confident you are. You know, but yeah, that's why I always wanted to fight him. But I think Izzy is on track. Maybe one day he's on track to beat those records one day. Maybe. You never know. We'll see what happens with Jared Cannonier. It's going to be interesting. Today we are welcoming back Ipvanish Vpn to the show. You know the deal. Ipvanish has been a long-time sponsor of ours, so it's so great to have them back. And let me tell you about Ipvanish. If you care about the security of your online activity, and you really should, the easiest way to protect yourself is with Ipvanish VPN. Rated 4 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, Ipvanish provides an encrypted connection for all of your internet traffic, helping to prevent websites, Wi-Fi providers, or even hackers from intercepting your data. You know, we're talking all your financial details, personal information, online activity is completely safe from threats with Ipvanish. Okay, you're not going to get hacked. You're not going to have people logging into your bank account, people hacking your Instagram, your social media, and all that stuff, and changing your passwords and blackmailing you. Believe me, that stuff goes on. Okay, Ipvanish eradicates all of that. And also, if you're in other countries, you can maybe access certain pornographic websites. What do I know? But still, get started. If you're in Abu Dhabi, trust me, it's going to come in handy. Get started with this limited time offer and save 50% off your monthly and annual subscriptions by going to ipvanish.com/believe. 50% off, ladies and gentlemen. One more time, that is ipvanish.com/believe. And that's all lowercase, by the way. Okay. All right. Well, we've got another show on Thursday. We're going to give some predictions and break down the fights at the weekend. But it is now time for questions. If you have any questions, of course, send them into bynpod@gmail.com for myself, for Anthony, or Brian or Harrington. Send in your content. And, Brian, without further ado, what do we have, my friend?
Can I just say slightly further ado? If you are watching on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell to find out whenever new videos come out. And then if you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you find podcasts, hit the follow button, leave a 5-star rating, positive review. And don't forget, you can always catch over 300 episodes of this show you can't find anywhere else, ad-free and uncensored at gasdigitalnetwork.com. Use promo code BYM for a 7-day free trial.
Look at that. Said like a pro. Just jump in, Harrington. You know what I mean? It was not a good segue. Brian had to mention it. You had to put your finger up. It was a little messy, right, Anthony?
Yeah, you know what? We're going to have to smooth that out.
Yeah.
But when he's going, though, it sounds so smooth. It's like he's reading it, but I don't think he is.
No, he's not.
He said it 380 times at this point.
Yeah, exactly. How many episodes have we done of this show? Do we know?
I think this is 384 or 385. Something
right,
like that.
Right. Yeah, to be fair, you've said it a lot.
It's like 4.
Fair enough.
Show 4. Is it show 4 now, Anthony?
I think this is the 4th one. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Congratulations. Happy 4th.
Yeah. Happy 4th.
Brian, what do we have?
So right now we're going to kick it off with a question from Kiki.
Do you love me?
Hey, Bisping, Anthony, Brian, and Harrington. This is Kiki with another video question. So this question's for Anthony. What made you get into the analyst role, and what was the best piece of advice you got from a coworker? I know you're currently a fighter, and I do think that aids in your analysis. You're very knowledgeable, and I love listening to you. Welcome to the podcast. I hope Bisping's making you feel very welcome. You guys are a great pairing. Thank you guys. Bye.
Oh, Kiki.
sweet.
And I got to say, I'm going to piggyback on Kiki. The response, Anthony, to you joining the show has been absolutely tremendous. We're very lucky to have you. We love you being on here. But still, it is your question.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. What a sweet question. It's a really long story, but long story short, you know, I was doing well in my interviews and my media days, and me and Dan Hardy were chopping it up, and the UFC liked it, so they created this show that we did every single fight week that added to my media schedule. It was just a talk with me and Dan Hardy. We would just talk about fights, not even necessarily my fight, just fights. And then I slowly, you know, kind of just moved into doing little segments on Sirius XM, and that turned into my own show. And then the UFC called and just said, "Hey, John Jones is fighting Alexander Gustafsson for the second time, and we, you know, have you ever thought about giving this desk analyst stuff a try?" And I had never even considered it. I was terrified, and yeah, so I tried it out. I went there, I did it. That was my first show. I was the last show on Fox with Michael Bisping himself, and it was me, Bisping, I think Ken Flo, and Karen. And yeah, I say this all the time, but the best advice I ever got, probably.
No, you don't have to big me up, but go ahead. Go ahead.
It was from Michael. It was from Michael. I was fucking terrified, guys. When I'm telling you, I was so scared. I was sweating in my suit up there. I'd blown the entire rehearsal. It was just, I didn't know how the flow went. I sat there in a production meeting and had no idea what the fuck anybody was talking about.
Oh, and by the way, just let me give a bit of color on those production meetings, because it is hard, because they have what's called the format sheets, right? And every little piece of the show, like a graphic, a scenic, meaning that they show outside, and then it'll cut to like the UFC. It'll say number 2, there's a graphic. Number 3, wide shot of the arena. Number 4, inside this studio. And like, so in the production meetings, if you've never been to one, which of course Anthony hadn't, because I remember being there many times, you know, they're talking about all this stuff and it's all just going over your fucking head. And they're giving you a format sheet and you're looking at it and you're like, this doesn't make any sense. Okay. But to be honest, that's a lot of that time. It's for the cameramen, it's for the directors, it's for the people that put up the things. So now I don't even look at the format sheets. I don't even look at them. And it's just like, I just wait when I hear, and at this point, Bisping will talk about that. Boom, then you got my full attention. Unless you're not talking about that, I don't give a fuck. But sorry, continue.
Yeah, and now I'm the same way in production meetings. I'm just kicked back in my seat, you know, eating some food or whatever the hell I'm doing, and then they're like, and then it's very same thing. And then you'll come to Anthony, you're like, oh, okay, now we're talking about me. All right, cool. Yeah. What am I doing? But you know, these things are thick. They're like 5 pages. They're all stapled together. They're different colors.
Back to the amazing advice, though. Back to the amazing advice.
So I'm confused and I'm fucking lost. And I'd already messed up the rehearsal. And Michael, right before we're about to go live, it's like 40 seconds or something. They're counting down. And I'm like shaking, like I'm about to fuck this whole thing up. And Mike said, if you ever get stuck or you feel uncomfortable, you get lost, like you go blank or whatever, look at me. And I'll just pick up where you left off, and I always got something to say. And since then, I just remember feeling so relaxed, like, okay, I can't really mess this up then, because if I get lost or get confused, I'll just look at Mike and he'll pick it up and no one will even know. So since then, I've given that same advice to every single person that I've ever kind of broken into the desk. I've just passed that on, because now I can tell, like, we're in the production meetings, and I'll say, you know, they'll be sitting next to me and I'll say, oh, don't worry about that shit. That shit doesn't matter. Like, so don't worry that you don't understand it, because all that shit I still don't get. But I just passed that same advice on down. So I think that's probably the best.
Interesting. Oh, yeah, because I guess that is kind of good advice. Fucking hell, I'm not bigging myself up. But at the time, I was just trying to give you, you know, but when you think about that, because that is one of the main issues, because I still get, I don't get nervous of the fact that I'm on TV. Sometimes I think, shit, have I got something intelligent to say? I get a little anxiety before commentary that I've researched enough. Do you know what I mean? Because the last thing you want to be doing is be on live TV and not have something to say about somebody, you know? Because sometimes yes, there's a commentary team, or when you're on the desk, there's a team of people. There's you, there's Dean Thomas, there's Alan Joe Band, Karen Bryant, whatever. But I've had sometimes, they run off to the bathroom or whatever, and it's just you for a minute. I'm like, shit, if I've got nothing to say about this guy, you look like a fool on TV. So it does bring a bit of anxiety. But so sometimes, and I know sometimes when you stand there and you're about to go live and you're trying to swallow, and I can't swallow. And I think until I swallow, I can't talk. And I don't know what that's all about. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Right before they come to me, I'm like, so anyway, yeah. Well, you do a fantastic job. You don't need me to tell you. Well done.
All right. We got one here from Michael Ruddle. And he's the guy who sends in the questions, the challenges for charity. So this one is going to be for Anthony. Just give me 1 second. That didn't work the way I wanted it.
It's like I don't even exist anymore. My God.
What's up, guys? This question is a challenge for Anthony Smith. You may have the heart of a lion, but do you have the memory of an elephant? Well, today we're going to find out because I'm going to ask you about history. And if you are correct, I will donate $200 to the Children's Hospital of Omaha. But if you fail, children get nothing from me. A while back, I gave a similar challenge to Bisping, and he was almost correct, so close, but he only missed Jorge Rivera. In your case, it is reverse, okay? And so in order for the Children's Hospital of Omaha to receive a $200 donation in your name, you must recite in reverse order every fighter you fought in the UFC, starting with your most recent, working backwards towards your first. I sent the answer in my email. 60 seconds. Go.
60 seconds.
Right, hold on. I'm bringing up your record here on Wikipedia. So, you fought in Bellator? I have no idea. I have it up here now. So,
all right, ready?
I'll give you a little tip. Oh my God,
so,
it's like yesterday. Go ahead.
Ryan Spann, Jimmy Crute, Devin Clark.
Hold on. No.
You said in reverse, right?
In reverse order, that means the first when you made your debut.
Oh, no, he's doing it right.
Oh, he is? Okay, because I was going to say you failed at the first hurdle.
Oh, shit.
Okay, all right. Go ahead. Start again.
All right. Ryan Spann, Jimmy Crute, Devin Clark, Alexander Rakic, Glover Teixeira, Alexander Gustafsson, John Jones, Volkan Ozdemir, Shogun Hua, Rashad Evans, Thiago Santos. God damn it. Thiago Santos. Who was right before that? Let me think here.
Would you like a clue?
No. I think it was Elvis Mutapchik.
I want to give you a clue. You think it was who?
I think it was Elvis Mutapchik.
Wow.
No, hold on. I'm not done yet. Hold on. Thiago Santos.
Technically done, but I'll allow it. No pressure. It makes it worse when people count down, but this is the game we're playing.
I know.
10, 9.
That hasn't been 60 seconds
8,
yet.
7, 6,
Who the
5,
fuck was before Thiago Santos?
4. You're great, buddy.
Hector
3,
Lombard,
yes.
Andrew Sanchez, Elvis Mutapchik.
That's time.
God damn it.
Oh! Now, Brian, did he get through them all?
No, because before Andrew Sanchez was Leonardo Leleco, and then before that would have been
You missed Hector Lombard before Thiago Santos.
You also missed Cesar Ferreira.
Oh shit.
Jesus, Anthony, get a grip of your own career. My God, I'm ashamed to know you right now.
And then my UFC debut was Braga Neto.
Braga Neto. Yes. All right, Brian, we got any more? Unlucky. So hold on. So what are we saying?
Here that you're Leonardo Augustus Gomeris?
Yeah.
It was Leleco.
So what are we saying? Did the children get $200 from our guy?
I fucked it up, but now I'm going to give the children $200.
Big up.
God damn it.
But I'll tell you what, I'll double it down. We'll make it $400. Boom. How about that? Team play. In for a penny, in for a pound.
There we go.
Or $1. All right. Give us another.
All right. So I got a question here from Luca Bell.
Hey guys, big fan of the show here. Hopefully Harrington's wearing a shirt. And if Anthony's here, hi Anthony, how you doing? Big fan of yours. Mike, I don't know if you remember me from your super chat a couple of days ago, whenever this video gets viewed. It's Luca Bell, 16 years old from northwest of England.
I do.
You know, I tried Paddy's gym out. I didn't like the vibe. But I'll probably take up on your offer. I train that Team Caravan with Darren Till, Tom Aspinall, Mike Grundy, all them guys. And Anthony, if you want to weigh in, someone starting out mixed martial arts, any advice on your high-level fighter yourself, that'd be much appreciated, thanks. But my main thing to ask is for Mike. I know it's a lot to ask for. I know you're a very busy guy, and understand if not. But are you know, any chance have a video call of some sort whenever you're free? As your words the other day on a super chat on my donation, it really meant a lot to me, especially coming from you. Someone's a pioneer of UK mixed martial arts, first UK UFC champion. It'll mean the absolute world to me. So thank you guys. Take care. Bye.
Well, Luca Bell, thank you very much. Yeah, I know he came on live on my YouTube channel the other day and was asking. So if I'm hearing that right, he wants advice for starting his MMA career. He said that he went to Paddy Pimblett's gym, didn't like the vibe. You know, and it's like that sometimes, you know, you don't fit into every single gym. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's not a good place to train, but whatever, it wasn't the right fit for him. And I was saying to him, listen, well, good for you. You have to identify that early. And if you want to be a professional mixed martial artist, then number one, having a good place to train is absolutely crucial. Taking your time, being dedicated, not rushing it, getting as many amateur fights as possible, because so many people, they want to be a professional because it's cool. They can tell everyone, and you know they can. You know what I'm saying? They want to say, I'm a pro fighter, man. It's professional. If you're serious about it, have as many amateur fights as possible, but fucking enjoy yourself. Anthony, have you got anything to add?
No, I don't think so. I think you hit them all right there. I think the amateur career is a big thing. I had a shit ton of amateur fights. And I probably could have had more. I probably could have used them more, to be honest. So, yeah, just finding a good spot, somewhere that you fit in, people that you trust, you know, and unfortunately that does take some time, but, yeah, just finding a good gym, people that you trust, long amateur career. I think taking your time is the biggest one. Everyone wants to jump in. They get a couple little skills. They win a couple little amateur fights and think they're ready for the UFC. You gotta take your time for sure.
Enjoy yourself as well. You know what I mean? If you go there and you find...
And don't support yourself fully on fighting for a long time. I think that's the last
course.
Thing. How many of these regional scene guys you see like, oh, I don't got no job and this is all I do. And yeah, okay. Well, you can only support yourself on LFA checks for so long. You know, you got to be able to...
I'm not sure what the LFA pay. But when I was fighting on the regional scene, as we call it, back in the UK, and I was lucky, I was Cage Warriors champion and I was Cage Rays champion. But still, what was I think £1,000 or 1,500 was my biggest payday outside of the UFC. Right. You know, but I would supplement that because I used to DJ back in the day. You know, but that was just at the weekends to make some extra money. If it wasn't for that, there's no way I could have dedicated myself full time to being a professional fighter because. Yeah. I'm sure. I mean, I don't know what was your biggest payday outside of the UFC?
Probably the fight right before I got re-signed. But I was, you know, it was in my hometown. It was a big draw. Got a big percentage of ticket sales, so I might have made $8,000, $7,000 maybe. Right, and which is really
when was
good
that?
money.
When was that? What year?
2006. Is 2015 when I got re-signed after I got cut.
See, that's different though, because I'm talking fucking 2003 and 4.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But before that, we're talking $2,000. You know what I mean? You make 1 and 1, 15 and 15, maybe. So at
that point, it's a dream.
Yeah, you're not making any money, but like that's what some of these guys do. They're doing this to pay their bills, and they want to be this full-time fighter. And you know what? Like if you take the pressure of having to win because you need to feed yourself off the table. That's what I found. So I just worked full time. I was in the UFC fighting Elvis Mutapchik, working 40 or 50 hours a week as a concrete finisher. So I wasn't able to quit my job until I hit that bonus in that fight. So I was working full time up until then.
And did that bring, I guess the fact that you had a full-time job and you were doing that alleviated pressure. I was going to say, did that bring any extra pressure? But how did that affect your training? Were you fucking exhausted? Because concreting is hard work. I mean, that's you're earning your money doing that. I did a bit of concreting back in the day as well. I think most guys from, you know, cut from all kind of cloth have done that kind of work. But how did you do that and then go train as well? You must have been exhausted.
Yeah, I was exhausted. I was absolutely exhausted. I would train in the morning before work all, you know, at 5 a.m.
Oh, wow.
work all day, and then train in the evening time after work, get home. You know, my wife would have some food ready for dinner. I'd eat and jet right back out and train till 9, 10 o'clock at night.
How long did you do that for?
Years.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
wow.
years.
Wow.
Yeah. From the time I got cut until I got back in. Yeah.
When did you get cut? So sorry, Anthony. I didn't know. So you had two. No. So you had 2 stints in the UFC. Sorry, mate. I wasn't aware.
Yeah. I'm on my second stint. I only got 1 shot. So I think I got cut in 2012 or end of 2012. I had 1 fight. I was in Strikeforce. And then they, the UFC bought Strikeforce and then moved us over. And I fought Braga Neto in Brazil and blew my knee defending a heel hook.
No,
and
God.
I didn't even get caught in the submission. I was actually defending it and blew my own knee. And,
oh my God!
And Joe Silva cut me right there.
Good old Joe Silva.
Silva. Yeah.
While you were in Brazil.
Yeah. I got the email like that night. He cut me right then and there.
While you're still recovering, while you're still in the country, you haven't even done the flight home yet. Do you know what I mean? You could have waited.
They had to fly me home early because I needed surgery right away and I didn't want to do it in Brazil. So they had to change
and
my
you had
flight.
to do that. You went through that flight all the way home, knowing that this whole trip, A, you'd lost the fight, and B, you'd been cut from the UFC going forward as well. Jesus Christ, must have been a hard pill to swallow.
And that's the first time I met Glover Teixeira. Like, I was in the airport because no one helped me. My coaches had a different flight. They wouldn't pay to fly everyone back early. So I had to fly back by myself. And I had these 2 big roller bags, completely torn LCL and ACL, or LCL and like a meniscus tear. And I had these 2 huge roller bags and I'm rolling them through the airport. Literally have 1 UFC fight that's a loss. I'm a goddamn nobody. I'm like 20, I'm in my early 20s. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. I've never been out of the country before until this trip. And I can't read Portuguese. I can't speak Portuguese. I have no idea what the fuck I'm going. And Glover Teixeira grabs one of my bags and walks me to the little security thing, helps me all the way through the airport, takes me to my gate, like fist bumps me and says, "Hey man, good luck." And then walked off. Yeah.
That's an amazing story.
And he was the shit back then. Like, he was super popular even then. And I told that story before I fought Glover. They're like, "Well, why do you want to fight him?" Like, honestly, I don't. Glover Teixeira was very, very kind to me for absolutely no fucking reason. He didn't have to.
That's amazing, man. What a guy. What a guy.
It took me 8 fights to fight my way back to the UFC too. 8 fights on the regional scene after that.
Well, good for you. I'm glad to have you. Glad to have you here on the podcast.
Yep.
And what a guy Glover Teixeira is, the champ. I mean, couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. You know what I mean?
I'm saying that's when we talked about this a couple weeks ago. I said I genuinely was really, really happy when Glover Teixeira won the title, even though that's the title that I want, and I'm gonna go I'm gonna go get that thing. But the fact that he was able to win it, no matter what, he gets to retire champion of the world at some point in time. It's fucking awesome.
Well, one day, buddy. One day. You got plenty of gas left in the tank, Anthony. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to call this an episode. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Thank you, Anthony, Brian, Harrington. Of course, you guys at home. Remember, as Harrington said, if you haven't already subscribed, please do. If you haven't rang the bell, do yourself a favor. Make sure you do that. Tell your friends. And we'll be back with another episode in a few days this Thursday. Anthony Smith, anything to leave the listeners with? Any words of wisdom? Any nuggets of info?
No.
Any?
I wish I had
slices of pie.
No.
Nothing.
I'm gonna bring something good on Monday. I'll bring something good next week.
All right. All right, guys. All the best. Take care.